Welcome, welcome. So begin by finding your center, equal weight between your 2 feet, spreading out through those toes and stacking. So remember, we've got our shoulders above the level pelvis, and everybody just trying to observe natural spine curves. There isn't really a need in life to really lift up that breastbone, but we do, because what happens is if you lift that breastbone too harshly, you get this hardening in the front of the heart and the back of the heart. But what we do need to do is make sure that we're all standing in a very tall way and that we feel very aware of the breath and very aware of the posture throughout. So hands can come onto those frontal hip points, or you can just let the arms dangle. And we're going to begin with a kind of form of standing cat-cow. So it's an alternate extension and flexion of the pelvis in the body. So soften the knees and begin to tilt the pelvis forward and then roll the arms back, externally rotating and opening the chest. So we'll create that sort of mild back bend. Now you can keep your eyes to the horizon if you wish. On the exhale, curl the other way. So roll the arms into your midline, tuck and curl that pelvis under. And if you wish, you can also bring the gaze into that heart center. So seamless movement with the breath, breathing in as you expand, opening out, exhaling, rounding, breathing in, lift out of the hips and lengthen your front line. Option to take the gaze to the point where the wall meets the ceiling. Exhaling, rounding. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth if that helps. And we are mindful of the rippling undulation through that spine, and of course speed up if that feels better for you. Let's create more mobility in the body rather than less. So a couple more rounds of you mindfully coming into that breath body and being attentive to the rippling motion in your spine. And then on the next one, just release back to standing tall. We're going to bring those feet again into check. So sort of checking that those feet are hip wide, aligning them with the frontal ACES points. And it's at this point you might want to make sure you've got an upper body mirror, eyes at the horizon, a literal crown, the crown of the head rising, and an imaginary crown on top. So we're going into the legs and the energy of releve. So just as you lift the heels away, glide up your wall and land, and see if you can allow this to come from the inner arches all the way through the inner thighs. Once again, arms can be relaxed, shoulders down, or it's quite nice to bring the arms out to a T shape, lengthen across the chest, keep the shoulder blades wide and broad, and then just speeding up a little bit. Releve, lifting and lowering. Try and find 10 or 12. And at the same time as you feel the muscles in the lower legs activate, the calf muscles, just be aware of some light tone, inner thighs and the gluteals. And since this is Pilates footwork, can you create an environment where as you land, your feet flatten down, or they're grounded evenly and they don't rock back or rock over to the outside or the inside edges. And releasing now into grounded, release the releve, rotate the arms, in breath, big in breath, You can come all the way out to your letter Y. On the exhale, take the fingers behind the back of the skull, possible interlace, or you can put one palm behind the other palm. Nestle those palms, as I say, into the back skull. And if your elbows come in, first of all, just allow that to happen in a soft way. No pushing on the head. So you do want to really retract the skull, chin is level. And on the next in-breath, open those elbows. Imagine you can press them to a wall behind you. And on the exhale, soften those tissues. Breathing in through the nose, elbows widen, and you spread out through that chest. But it's Pilates method. So keep an eye on the upper ribs being kind of well knitted. So this sort of flaring of the elbows back, widening. You want to be feeling some energy coming into the upper back. Knees are softening without bending. Pelvis is level. Even weight through your feet. Now, behind the skull, if you need to separate the fingers, you know, if you've got them interlaced or palm onto palm, it's causing a problem, just separate the fingers. And you can even have the fingertips around the shell of the ear if you prefer. So please don't push or strain the neck. Last one coming up as you widen. And then try to relax in the midline. Now we're going to shrug and draw down. So elevate the shoulder blades up. Breathing in. Exhale, glide them down. Breathing in to elevate. And of course, they draw up to the ears. It's that sort of unwelcome hunching that we don't want during our daily living, the active daily living. In, rising, exhaling, releasing. And now we'll add Pilates corkscrew. So can you bring your heels to the midline, turning the feet out? If that's welcome for your inner legs, that brings us into a little bit more zip and hollow. And of course, just encourage that low back to lengthen out. So let's combine. So inhaling as the shoulders shrug upwards. Little pause. Exhaling, glide the blades down at the same time, spread out the hands. You come through cactus and down into elbow slides or chicken wings. And at the end of that exhalation, really feel the corset coming through the midline from the breastbone to the pubis. And then we start again. Inhale, elevate blades, scapulae rise, little pause. Exhale, feel the muscles from the armpit to the hip, draw the shoulder blades down. And at the same time as you're continuing your exhalation, draw down into your elbow slides. And at this point, you might feel that scapulae squeeze together. Inhale, rise, exhale. Excuse me, it's made me cough a little bit, sorry. Exhaling and sliding. You, excuse me, may want to offer a couple more of those. It's known as Pilates corkscrew. And remember to keep accessing that alignment, a well-aligned postural body in standing, grounded through the feet, spreading out the toes, that lovely zip and hollow coming through. And maybe you're on your last one, and we will release through those arms. Now, keeping the V stance, if that's appropriate, but as I say, you can always bring the toes forward if it's better for you. releasing the left arm up and overhead, and releasing your right arm up and overhead. Lengthening back to center. We've got just a couple more of those lovely side openings. Nice to inhale, perhaps on the lengthening through the lateral, keeping tone, and exhale to draw the body back, mindful of that return to center. So again, the Pilates method is about entry into movement and coming always to return to the center. Last one coming up of the side bends, lengthening through the torso and releasing back to center. Now that those heels are together, create that corset again, arms out to the sides. Possibly you might have chosen to hold your hand weights. You can even come into a goalpost position. We're going back into releve. 10, 9, 8, 7. Lifting those heels away. Try not to pitch forward. Slide up the wall. 2 and 1. And then exhale the arms forward. Shoulders are broad, chest is open. And then see if you can bring the arms all the way down. So taking an inhalation here. Exhale to here. So you could have half move. Inhale, exhale, in which case you might be moving much faster, or breath in across the front, back and sides of the body, opening the thorax, and exhale all the way down. And there'll be that feeling of internal rotation. Try not to lift those shoulder blades up, keeping your well-aligned movement. And this is exceptionally good for the mobility of the rotator cuff muscles. Now I'm making small fists. You may well have chosen to pick up your medium to heavier weights. Just watch that you don't press that head forward. And can you offer yourself, please, as many repetitions that make sense to your body this morning? That might be a dozen, and it could be more than that. So keep going. And then finish in the hold. So return to the goalpost or cactus arms, shoulder blades down. Feel that connect between the armpit and the hip. And then we're just going to pulse the elbows back. Tiny movements. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then release your arms a little bit forward so that in your peripheral vision you can see your dumbbells or your small fists or thumbs, and then activate the biceps. So coming into what's known as bicep curl 2. Opening and closing. And try to make both the open energy and the closing energy of equal effect. Now, of course, again, without weights, you could move faster, but you still want to feel that there is an active connection to the biceps and to the triceps. And the reason that Pilates method has these wonderful arm weight series is because, yes, of course, we use our hands and arms constantly every day. And also, if your arms are at their sort of optimal strength, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got those bulging, sculpted muscles, although you might have. You are supporting your upper back and you are supporting the shoulder girdle. Now remember, if you're in a mirror, not to start tipping forward and let the weights pull you forward, And also notice that you're not shifting back with the pelvis thrusting. So always throughout a Pilates arm weight series, you are still in whole body awareness. Okay, completing your bicep curls, release the arms and roll the shoulders, 5 back, 3, 2, and 1, and forward, 5, 4, 2, and 1, and then a large circle coming across the face. So this is an internal rotation, and then follow around and create a turn. Coming back to center. Roll in across the face. Inhaling, half circle, exhale, rotate and look back to that palm and come back to center. Okay, arms out to the side again. And from the midline. Now you can step onto your Pilates mat if you wish, depends what surface you're practicing on at home. I've got grippy toe socks on today. I'm going to stay on this wooden floor. And we're going to step out and plie. So create the breath in as you plie. That's the breath in on the way down. Exhale, squeeze up, slide back or step back. Out to the side. This is when I now hit my wall. Out to the other side and breath in. Exhale, squeeze back, center. Plie, exhale, slide. Inhale, exhale. You can speed up. In, exhale. In, exhale. Now keep going with those plie. Find the best alignment for those knees. And then take the arms into a different position. Perhaps reach them up overhead. Maintain a position. And remember, you're going to exhale and draw back. We can bring the arms down at that same time. So, breathing in, glide down. Exhale, squeezing back. And it's really important that you also pretty much check that your heels are well aligned. Mainly the feet are turned at 45 degrees. Exhale. Try not to flare those ribs on the front raise. And squeeze. So engaging the gluteals. Squeeze. This is the option. Anybody who has an easier access, come out to goal post. Shoulder flexion going all the way to the ears for some of us. Remember, you're gliding down a wall, and it's not that deep, deep squat where your body tips forward. So keep wrapping the muscles around that midline. 10 or a dozen would be great. Remember, we've added those on to the side step plie. And then shake out your legs. Again, choose maybe the lighter weights. We're going to do some dynamic movement in the arms now. But coming into a step back Pilates lunge. So from your standing upright position, create energy in the left standing leg, float the right knee, and you can gently hold the front of the knee. Or what is really interesting is if instead of a gentle hold, you create a resistance. So your body is upright, and what you do is push your knee and shin, if you can reach there at the front of the knee, into the palms and pull the arms back and flex the foot. Take a breath in and out and feel, hopefully, that wrap around especially in that right gluteal muscle group as you hold that resistance. And remember to breathe. Okay, let's try the other side, standing well. Float the left knee. By the way, if you want to toe tap and you need to create something a little bit different, that's an option. Otherwise, can you push that knee or shin, or you don't really want to kind of squeeze onto that knee joint. But do your best to find this action. I guess you could also hold underneath. Yeah, that works quite well. You can cradle underneath and push down and pull up on the arms, and make sure that your shoulder blades draw down the back. So feeling that slightly stronger version of the knee fold balance. And then we're going to lift and step back to the lunge. So knee fold, pointed foot, and then step back. Now, as you step back, connect to the left knee above the hip, both feet grounded, and then pull up on your right heel and create a very strong linear line. Watch that you don't flare those ribs and back bend, because this is not yoga. Keeping everything contained, tip the body forward into an arrow and align the gaze. And reach the arms forward, palms face each other, and then reach them back into arm press back. Keep your balance, inner thighs are strong. 1, forward, back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 6. Now keep them back, rotate the palms up to the sky, a little further tip forward. I mean, I'm looking at the screen, but you want to align your head and neck, and then pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep pulsing. And pulsing. Trying to reach 30. And then hands can come to your hips, or if you're holding your weights, out to the sides or beside you. And as you step forward, tap the right toes behind you, finding center, or hook the right foot behind that left thigh or calf. Step back. Come forward. I'm going to raise the arms and tap. Step back, tap. So the foot is just coming behind that left knee, and see if you can find 6 or 8 single leg balance into your reverse lunge. Well done, well done. Take a breather. Let's find the second side. Ease out the legs. Be standing. Strong connection to your balance. Left knee folds up. Maybe it can come higher. Maybe it's lower. And then reach back to lunge. Right knee above the ankle. And then peel that left heel away. Active thighs, active gluteals, really strong back leg. Send your body weight forward and reach the arms. And then you're moving from the shoulder joint. Trying to bring the arms by the ears for that long arrow. And then accessing the triceps on the way back. And there's 6 dynamic arm movements here. But you can do 8 or 10 if you prefer. And then arms can come to the pelvis, arms can relax, and come out to the side. Stand, tap the toe to the mat, or tap the foot just behind that right leg. Slightly stronger is to also come into like a single leg knee bend. Step back. Come forward, tap, step, tap. Easier for you to do that, I must say. While I'm trying to look at the screen and talking, it does put me off balance. See if you can find 6 or 8. Remember your standing leg, the right leg, the toes and knee are aligned. It doesn't really want to be that that knee shoots over the toes. And if you have to step back into 2 grounded feet, that's fine. Remember, this is also another challenge. Having that back leg tucked behind with almost that little single knee balance. And then when you've completed the balancing lunge practice, find that you're in your center, float the arms forward, shoulders down, hip wide. Breathe in, take the arms wide, squeeze the scapulae, exhale to center, and then inhale, rotate thorax. Exhale to center, keep the pelvis facing forward. Inhale, double arm opening. Exhale, squeeze back. Breathe in, rotation, or you can even keep your face forward to help you maintain the alignment of the pelvis. Exhale back. Inhale, exhale, rotate and return. Open, close, rotate, return. So you can add in that head and neck as well, depends on you. Last one. Release those arms. And then full circle. Inhale. Exhale all the way down. Full circle. Inhale. Exhale all the way. And as I say, if you've got your hand weights, that will feel very different. Please now come to the back of your practice mat. Now you can come down to all fours in any way you like, but it's quite nice for many of us to add Pilates roll down to the morning practice. So if you are happy in the spine to create full roll down, please do so now. Let the weight of the head guide you in. Be mindful of the weight of your torso slightly coming forward now into the balls of the feet, and maybe your back palms drape. Shake out the head and neck, possibly fingertips to earth or block. And keeping the feet grounded, really lovely here to find some pedal action through the legs. And then when you're ready, please walk in to your all fours and be grounded through the palms. Release those shoulders away and find for you that lovely long tabletop back. So if you feel that your belly and shoulders sink and you notice that belly, you want to press away, connect to the inner thumb root and broaden in the back. So for some of us, it's not really a tucking because that can create a rounded back. It's more of accessing length and that pelvic core. So be grounded and then bring your right forearm elbow to mat. Align the elbow under the shoulder and the left arm can maybe reach just a little bit further forward. And open up through the opposite leg, which is your left hip. Now you can flex the foot or point the foot, and your range of motion might be different. And then come in and out. So it's a bit like opening a gate. And of course, this will be very strengthening to your lower structures. It's really fabulous for supporting the low back. And you may want to find 10 or 12 of these. So after 10 or 12, think about that foot, that left foot, is it flexed or extended? Press the earth away and make sure that from your right armpit to your right hip, you have a good connection. And then pulse up. 10, 9, 8, 7. Pulse, pulse, 6, 5. Keep the belly in, keep the waist wrapped. And 3, 2, 1. Lengthen the leg away. And as you lengthen the leg away, it might come up to sky. And then recenter. So you may want to look underneath your body and bring the pelvis level. And at this point, join the other forearm in to the first, and you may then interlace. Pointed left toes, lengthening out of the hip. Do not swing, but take the leg across the back leg like a little curtsy, and then bring it back to center. It goes across to the right, centered. Control the action. Imagine you've got some fruit under your armpits. Tap, lengthen, tap, and lengthen. And at all times, through that extended left leg, if you had little headlamps on the pelvis, they would be facing your practice mat. So there's quite a lot to be aware of in your whole Pilates strong body, keeping that connection to the muscles of the core. Cross and back. And now, after say 10 of those, rise back to all fours. Curl the left ball of the foot as it presses into the mat. Root through those wide arms and shoulders and come into your tabletop Pilates plank. Strong energy here. Separate the feet, shoulder wide, and bring the right knee in towards the right arm and release. Left knee towards the left arm and release. Right, release. Left curls in, release. Right, left. And I'll let you decide how many more of those you'd like to find. Following on from that, allow your hips to surrender to the buttocks and give yourself a lovely shell stretch and enjoy. And then rise back to your all fours and just turn the palms outwards. So turn the fingers to the left, turn your fingers out to the right, and give yourself a little circle around those wrists, shoulders. And if you need to, you can also do this, of course. Check them out. Yeah, so take care of your wrists. It might mean the whole of the next exercise is done on the elbows and the forearms, or it might mean that you roll the top of the mat and put some padding under those wrists. But let's go into left elbow below the shoulder and connect from armpit to hip. Right arm lengthens forward and then open up in that right hip. And you're going to open and close the gateway to that hip. I'd like you to try and stay well focused for 10 or perhaps a dozen. Now, it's quite common for me to see you as a group looking down or looking back at that knee, and that's fine. Once you've found the best energy you can in your own body, maybe don't drop your head, but just bring the head back to center. Keep the leg elevated now and pulse up. Tiny movements up for 10, and you're going to feel this in the gluteal compartment on both of those hips. Pulsing up for 10. And then as you lengthen the leg away, that can be a lovely feeling of stretch and hip extension, bring your right elbow down and realign. And realigning might mean that you bring the knees under the hips, root through the whole of the torso, and then lengthen your right toes away. Quite tricky not to come into hyperextension of the neck. Float your right leg away and lengthen it, and then it crosses behind you to the left, and it can tap and lengthen, or it can glide to the left and lengthen away. And remember, whole body Pilates, and you are really staying with good breath throughout. You're mindful of the activity on the moving leg as well as the activity on the stabilizing leg. No need to rush, but when you've completed, bring the body back to tall standing arms, proud standing arms, chest open, push the ball of the right foot away. Now you've really lengthened out through that right leg. Join in with the left to find your plank. Feet are coming into shoulder wide. And we're going to swap the legs now into a twist. So I'm going to bring the right knee towards the left arm, twisting, pushing the earth away. Release, and then the left knee towards the right. So cross it over. Keep the breath going. Breathe into center. Exhale, twist and turn if that works for you. Above all else, please, it's not about quantity, it's about maintaining your good alignment. When you've completed, time for a little shell stretch again, or come to high kneeling and release the arms overhead, interlace those fingers and just pull the ribs away. Have a little feeling of stretch, and if you can, sandwich the head between the arms and create an upper body circle. So much as I love the Pilates method, being in that static hold that we get in the plank, you know, we don't want to always keep that tensioning. So find that you can ease off. But be moderate with that movement if that's better for your back. And then we're going to come and sit on the sit bones. Let's release the legs forward. Back wide, give them a little shake out, roll the legs. Now you can sit with very firm legs, with the toes facing to the sky. Yes, you can bend your knees, or you can have pointy feet. Float the arms forward and just create a mild hoop, small fists or your hand weights, and stack your body. As you inhale, sit tall. Exhale, scoop the belly back. So navel draws in to protect spine. Spine, reach your hoop forward. And then breathe in. Seamless restack. The other option, which is quite nice, is to bring the legs to mat wide or even a little wider and turn towards one leg. Now stack, hollow belly, exhale, reach forward over one leg. Come back. If you've got your weights, of course, you're adding extra tone. Turn, exhale over the other leg. Feel it and come back. You might want to try that once more, and you may also want to guide yourself back to a bent knee position. Keep the hoop or re-find your hoop. Breathe in as you exhale, curl off of those sit bones. Start to find your Pilates T-shaped curl. Squeeze the muscles of the chest here. So if you're holding those weights, really feel the pectoralis muscles engage. And then as you glide back, hoop can come overhead. Breathe in, exhale, scoop your hoop. Inhale, rise the hoop. Exhale, round and scoop. And you can go lower if you wish, and you can add a floating leg. So a little bit of layering on some challenge. Inhale, exhale, scoop your hoop, float a leg if you wish. But remember to stay within the boundaries of what is a challenge for your body. And even though I'm mildly speeding up, sometimes it's good to pause, inhale, exhale, and check that you have all your Pilates methods components working well for you. So maybe another 5 or 6 rounds. I would say that even stronger or different will be to raise the hoop on the inhale. And on the exhale, as you curl off of those sit bones, find the sacrum and then elongate the spine. You might be bringing both legs up and balancing both legs, tap down, and then you curl it back, lift your hoop, and then on the exhale, spine reach forward. Okay, now, weights are down beside you. If you're still using your hand weights, let yourself curl down. Once you're laying on the mat, bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a little hug. Keep the right thigh in and extend out through your left leg. And then draw the left thigh in and extend out through your right leg. Let's do this a few times with grace and lovely mobility through those hips. And then bring both knees in. Hold the backs of the thighs or the tops of the shins. Exhale, scoop your belly and curl up. And try to notice the strength of the arms lifting your torso away from the mat. Keep that curl and then take the hands around that right shin and inhale, exhale, single leg extend. Dynamic. Keep trying to curl up and lift that torso away. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both knees in, curl again. Lay back down. Both knees into the chest. And align the knees above the hips. As you open the legs into your diamond, your heels are together, and can you separate the feet? Heavy weight through the back ribs, arms open. Exhale, legs extend away. Inhale, pull back to your diamond. Try to connect to your heels of your feet, so heels of the sit bones. Inhale back. Broaden your chest, eyes to horizon, I'm in the sky. Exhale, inhale. Exhale away. Challenge, lowering more, or your legs might be towards the sky. Coming into that diamond. No overarch. And you want to find, please, maybe a full 10 repetitions of that double leg lengthening, double leg lowering. And when you've completed, fold the knees into the chest, cradle the knees, lower legs are relaxed, and find your double hip circles. Now in your double hip circles, this is very soothing and delicious. Some of us might want to go into the extreme advance of 2 arrow legs. So continue with your bent knee, delicious, soothing circles, or find both directions on the arrow legs. And remember that if you're using the arrow legs, you've still got to be in your whole body awareness. From here, lay the arms open, or choose to take them overhead with a strong interlace, or even, I think this is lovely, cradling the back of the skull and laying the elbows out. Roll the legs to your right, keep your head centered, and find a full breath. Now on your exhale, that is your guide to glide the heavy legs back to perfect center and be in your neutral spine. It's quite nice to have the feet mat wide. Breathe in, drop the legs to the other side. End of the out breath, pause, and then belly scoops in and grounded anchoring as you draw the legs back. Slightly stronger, bring the knees above the hips, keeping that cradled arm position. As the legs hover to the right, squeeze those inner thighs together and anchor yourself back. Legs hover to the left, Pilates hip roll, hover and exhale to center. And this can also be done just with your tiptoes on the mat. So instead of having the feet grounded, you can just bring tippy toes to the mat and sway that way as well. So finishing your next 2 hip rolls, no need to hurry. And then release your arms down to the mat, pressing those triceps in. You can bend the elbows if you wish and hold the weights, or you can float the arms above the chest, holding your weights. Find the breath, inhale, open the chest as you exhale, curl the pelvis, push through even feet, glide into your shoulder bridge. Remember, it's not yoga class, so we don't want to overly back bend, and re-establish your core sit. And then just tip your left pelvis to the left, recenter, and tip your right hip to the right. Push through the feet and recenter, and see if you can create a little half circle. A little half circle in the other direction. Whether your arms are overhead, or beside you, or up towards the sky. Soften the heart, melt each vertebrae down one by one. Please make sure you are now warm enough. Perhaps you stay here in supine semi, or you may choose to slide your legs away and release them. And if you choose to slide the legs away, inhale, exhale, lift the head and shoulders away and just really realign from the root to the navel to the breastbone. And delicately surrender the skull. And really important that you have your eyes facing up to the sky, of course, even if you're closing your eyes. So many of us do lay down, and unfortunately we go into a slightly tilted head. If you're not sure, roll your head left and right and really try and connect to the to that feeling of the skull being centered. Now we're going to stay here for some mindfulness of breathing. So first of all, can you allow your body to come to a feeling of resting? Know that we're letting the body rest here a while. And perhaps the first thing that you notice are some different thoughts and feelings. So being aware of what is in the landscape of your awareness. Sometimes we habitually hold tension in certain areas of the body. So let's check, first of all, the feet and the toes. Is there an awareness there to allow them to spread and soften, even underneath your socks? And then also scan your palms, hands, fingers and thumbs and let them lay open, or possibly you can bring flat palms resting onto heart center and navel center. Let's ensure that the shoulder blades are dropping from the ears. Your whole back is spreading. And there's even weight through the left and the right buttock, left and right foot, left and right heel if your legs are long. And now connect mind, body and breath together. Please be patient. Having a kind of relaxed attention. Can you feel the movement of your breath amongst everything that's going on for you today? Perhaps now feel the flow of breath in your nose and trace the pathway of the breath. It's like a little whisper at the back of the throat, and then it comes into the heart. Or, especially yogis in the room, we often guide the breath into our belly. Now, Jill, I would consider it might be more useful for you to take this practice in seated or sitting in a chair, especially if lying on your back is producing a tickle in the back of your throat. You don't want to be encouraging lots of coughing. So do allow yourself to sit if that's better for you. Now with hands on or off, sense the rhythm of your breath carefully. And to do this, we might need to take one or two deeper breaths to bring the mind to focus on that movement of the breath. So can you feel the nose, the flow of air, and also the rise and fall in the body, rise and fall in the back, rise and fall in the back waist, rise and fall in the side ribs. Remember that this is not just breath training, this is mental training, it's mindful training. So we are allowing patience, allowing kind compassion, and continuously bringing the mind back to the breath over and over again to center yourself in the breath energy body. And you can't do this wrong. So please let go of perfection. Just be with each breath cycle, as many in a row as you can. Now, amidst all of this quieter activity in the body, possibly some other thoughts have cropped up. Remain in a kind of relaxed awareness and perhaps release the arms slowly into an overhead length. You might still want to keep your eyes closed, but just sort of ease out the ribs away from the pelvis. And these movements can be quite languid, they can be soft, almost lazy movements, and then bring knees to fold, or even one or both knees back into your chest, remaining mindful. And your choice, you can curl the knees into supine curl and roll along your spine a few times. You can roll to your side body and use your top arm to delicately press yourself back to sitting, or full Pilates roll up from that long extended body and those long legs. You'll breathe in, you'll lift the head, neck and shoulders, and you'll sequentially come up to sitting. Now, once you're in seated, with or without block, we're going to sweep the legs to the left and find this glorious side opening. Left arm over the left ear, right elbow down, rise and flow to your second side. And then turn left, look over the left shoulder. Center the body, sweep the legs to your right. In your mermaid seat or similar, left elbow to mat. Inhale, exhale, right arm reaches away. Right palm down, lift through the left. Guide your body over to the right side leaning, centering, and now turn right. Look over that right shoulder. Try and sit tall, please. Release back. You can push through the hands and come to standing here, or you can flip round and lift your hips. You might want to offer yourself a yoga dog stretch, led by a ragdoll, or Pilates roll down to roll up. So mindfully exiting your Pilates hour. And then we are all back in standing. Breathe in. Greet the new day ahead with renewed motivation. Exhale down into that navel center. And thank you so much for joining me today.